This is the Unregimented Podcast. I guess we should probably say that, huh?
Unregimented Podcast on Christopher Media, recorded in Asmacore Studios.
Oh, yeah. Shameless self-promotion.
Yeah.
But we got to do it.
Rob, what's new with you? How you doing?
I'm doing all right,
Yeah.
just chilling out, hanging out with my friends, having a good time, recording our voices.
Right on.
Recording our voices.
Rob, you a Star Wars fan? You're not, are you? You're a Star Trek fan.
More Star Trek, yeah.
Do you have to choose?
I don't know. I watched a little bit of Star Wars stuff, yesterday on the computer.
What did you were you looking at like new stuff, the new cast?
Well, no, I saw that. That was looking pretty cool. And then I watched a little bit of Phantom Menace, and that was fun.
Oh, you were actually watching the movies?
Yes.
He was getting his May the 4th on.
Yep.
Oh,
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was seeing the cast the other day. I was wondering what you saw. There's a lot of old
Yeah, it was nice.
cast members that are coming back, which makes sense because it takes place in the same universe. They're reprising their original roles. But what's up with Kenny Baker and Chewbacca's name? Peter Mayhew. they're going to be in it too. So they're really going to. My first question was, are they really going to stuff an 80-year-old midget into a tin can again?
Yeah, how is
Yeah,
this?
that's the one thing I thought, he might have just die in that tin can.
And
Man.
nobody was
Somebody's
know.
still controlling him. With the remote control, they're like, oh, we don't know when he passed.
How does anybody know that Kenny Baker's actually inside of R2-D2? The smell.
The smell. Oh.
How is that not CGI yet, by the way?
Right. That's what I'm trying to think of. Clearly they just wanted to not exclude them. It would just be rude to exclude them. But what point is there putting that person inside that costume again when, yes, you can CGI anything. You can make anything more realistic. Nobody's going to know whether there's a human in that thing or not.
They brought back Tupac for one performance.
Yeah,
R2-D2 is still a midget in a garbage can.
Maybe it was. Maybe they tried and the CGI R2s just aren't working, and nobody knows how to work those R2 controls like Kenny. We got to get him in here.
Bring me fucking Kenny.
Yes, we need Kenny. Nobody spins that head around like he does.
He's got that magic touch.
Ken, it's all in the wrist.
Maybe he's the only one who can do the sounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't make those sounds on his own.
You don't know that?
That'd be pretty awesome if he could.
Nobody knows that.
I bet you he makes them from inside the suit, but they just take it out and they loop in other sounds.
How does
Beep,
Kenny,
boop.
we don't need
Yeah.
the sounds.
Beep, boop,
Thank
bop,
you.
boop.
how does his table read work? Beep beep boop beep beep.
Yeah. Button switch sound. Beep boop.
Yeah.
And Lucas was like, did I hear two beeps? It's supposed to be beep, boop, boop, okay?
Hey, we're professionals
run it
here,
back
all right,
again.
Kenny?
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
know you haven't worked in 30 years.
But yeah, I think the cast looks pretty good.
Cassie looks, it looks
Yeah.
interesting.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but
No,
you
no
do
idea.
you do follow Star Wars. You're just not
Somewhat, yeah. Not
a big
diehard.
fan of do you consider yourself a fan of Star Trek then?
A little bit more. I mean, I had the collectibles and stuff when I was a kid, but
Oh, see,
yeah.
See, I
don't know where
didn't
they are now.
have any Star Trek figures. I had all Star Wars figures.
I think it was
Because
just
it's all what you grew up with.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's all in you.
Star Wars guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did you play with when you grew up?
He-Man.
There you go.
Masters of the Universe.
Yes,
if
yeah.
you
Yeah, I
want to
had
be
that too.
technical.
I had Castle Grayskull, and
I'd fucking
yeah.
Okay.
that was my shit.
Dude, if
He-Man.
anybody sees a Castle Grayskull with the voice changer, I need one of those again. I need to record something through that.
Those are pretty awesome.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? It had like
Yeah.
the big reverby robot sound.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I thought the Castle Grayskull when I was a kid, it was just a big hunk of green plastic. But I mean, damn, now that you look
Hey, it
back
had the
at
trap
there's
door.
so much more. Yeah,
Yeah.
the trap door.
Am I the only one who thinks that the smell of the plastic they used on those He-Man figures was very distinct as well?
Yeah, because it was probably chemicals that are now outlawed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was off-gassing constantly in your toy chest. You were getting cancer every time you opened the lid.
Good times.
Yep,
That's
the good old
just a
days.
smell that has really stuck with me. Anytime I smell anything with that same plastic, reminds me of He-Man.
The fond memories of the chemical smell.
Yeah, I had a lot of He-Man figures. I melted and destroyed a lot of my figures.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you? I did.
I just ripped their heads off, arms, legs.
Yeah.
And they all became casualties.
Well, my He-Man, I had a Man-at-Arms. His chest piece, the straps broke on it, so I used it. I found some adhesive, to glue it back on. And so, of course, I wanted to use the strongest stuff I had. So I went through my dad's stuff and found this epoxy, and it just melted his chest completely. And he had this like, cavity. It was almost as good as the time that I tried to recharge my G.I. Joe figure. Remember the ones that had the glow-in-the-dark faces?
Right.
I tried to recharge it so it would last all night. So I leaned it against the light bulb and left it for like an hour. When I came back, he had this like concave face.
Wow.
It had melted halfway into the
It turned
the light
into
bulb.
I'd be
Raiders of
scarred as a child.
Raiders of the Lost Ark issue. G.I. Joe.
That's perfect.
Did you have the two? Did you also, staying with He-Man here? Did you have the He-Man figure that was the amalgam of all of the missing parts? Had like it was
right, because
one guy's
someone in
head,
the
another
cable,
guy's
yeah.
arm, another guy's torso.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured out pretty early on that you could pop their heads off and switch them around, and then I showed my sister that the same could be done with their Barbies. She didn't think it was as cool though.
Yeah, but He-Man, you couldn't switch the legs with He-Man because the only action figures ever that fucking, what was it, that rubber band?
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever?
the G.I.
where it
Joe
would
guys had
snap.
the rubber band in the center that would snap, and
And it'd be done.
Yeah, we would always try and figure out ways to put them back together. We had like wire and like hair bands and shit in there.
Yeah, I tried using a garbage twist tie once. That worked.
And then
For
it
a
would just
minute.
turn into things where it's various scenarios where your G.I. Joe was half buried in something. Kept running into quicksand or lots of water-based scenarios. Help, we're drowning.
I could take you to Lincoln Park and give you a tour of yards where I could probably dig up old action figures that I or my friends put there.
Nice.
We've got stuff buried all over downriver.
So you think.
Yeah, maybe they found it now.
Somebody
It's on
found it.
eBay. Rare Destro.
Rare Destro,
Somewhat fair condition.
25 years of dirt damage.
It might be worth something,
He's
though.
being held together inside with an earthworm.
Right. That would be amazing.
What else is going on? Is anything interested in either of you guys?
Define interested.
know.
There's lots of things we could talk about.
Things that make you raise an eyebrow. Like for me, it was
things we were talking about earlier.
Well, I was listening to. There's been a couple of news stories coming up on the radio about the Supreme Court hearing cases of police seizing cell phones during arrests and what they are and are not allowed to do with that information and how far of a search they can make on that. And I mean, the obvious thing here is that we carry a lot more information in our phones than we used to.
Oh yeah, my whole life is in my phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And this is related to like there was some case where a kid got pulled over. I think he had some drugs on him, just like some personal. But they went through his phone. They confiscated his phone, went through it, found photos of large quantities of drugs, and eventually got out of him that he was dealing. But
well, I mean that's on you. I mean that's evidence.
yeah, okay. It's considered something that's because police are allowed to take on evidence that's in the vicinity of the crime, right? They don't have to get a warrant if they catch you doing something wrong in your house or in your car. They are allowed to search your car and search your house because that's where the crime happened. So they don't have to go and get a warrant and risk the evidence being lost or destroyed or the crime scene changing. So that's the same place where the police are coming from is, you have the phone on you. That's part of that was on you during the crime or during the routine traffic stop or whatever your encounter was with the cop. But the other side of that, think about what our phones mean to us these days. We're carrying around computers filled with our personal information. So how far should a cop be allowed to search?
Well, I'll go with this line of thinking here. All right, now if you are being arrested, okay, there's your probable cause to search your phone. I mean, I think you could break it down to right there. That's all they need. If they're doing something that they can arrest you, then
yeah, but
I think that's
there's
probable
things in
cause.
your phone that I think that go outside of your immediate area, right? Think about cloud storage. I have an app on my phone that allows me to look at things that I've uploaded to a cloud from my home computer and download that directly without having to have a password or anything. Now, this is just, random stuff that I put up there for myself, but the concept is like your phone can be a portal to your whole life, potentially. And so to say that that's open for search and seizure, that's a pretty big thing.
I mean, it's personal property that's on you when you're getting arrested. It's just like when when you get arrested, they can search your car. I think the same kind of principle applies here. It's your personal property. They got cause to search it.
I think we have to expand our notion of what is personal property that you carry around with you and what is absolutely private, because this is not just a piece of property anymore. This is like saying, oh, you're involved in crime. This is the year 2014. You probably used a computer to do some of that crime. So now we have probable cause to go and take your computer.
Well, if you're in their custody, they got probable cause to do whatever the fuck they want, and they're gonna. That's that side of that coin.
Well, unfortunately, okay, here's the scary part, though, because the people who are debating this, the Supreme Court, I wish I could remember who it was. Let's just say it was Clarence Thomas, because I'm pretty sure it was. Said, well, what is, this is a quote, well, what really is the difference between a pager and a cell phone? It's just scary to me that we have people regulating this that don't even have a concept of what you can and can't do with this technology. I don't agree with you that it should be open to search and seizure. I mean, when they actually if they seize your phone, let's say you're getting pulled over for, I don't know, driving on a suspended license, which some people do, I've heard. And,
it's a rumor.
And, but that's all you're doing wrong. And your cell phone is in your car, and they won't let you take it with you. They take it they impound your car, right? They can then search the entire car. If I had anything illegal in the car, they could charge me for it. But they can also now search everything that's on my phone. Now, what if I had illegal activity that was on my phone that had nothing to do with me driving anywhere, where I was going, what I was doing when the police stopped me for something completely unrelated? But they are able to take information off my phone, connect it to crimes, supposed crimes, and persecute me based on that. Do you think that's fair?
I'm saying their probable cause is you being in their custody. If they picked you up for something, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying
guilty of one crime, guilty of all.
I think that's going to be the ultimate decision there. If we got you in custody, if you've given us a reason to take you into custody, then it's game on your cell phone. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just thinking. I really think that's how it's going to shake out.
I mean, it very well may be.
Because, like I said, I defer to your car. If you get arrested, they can search your car. It's the same. Your car doesn't hold your whole goddamn life in it, but I think it's going to be along the lines of the same principle.
But if I have something illegal that I'm not supposed to have in my car, that's directly related. I'm transporting that. I'm transporting guns. I'm transporting drugs. That makes sense to me. You caught me during transportation, during an illegal act. They didn't catch. They didn't. I'm saying this like this actually happened to me. In my hypothetical example, they caught me driving on a suspended license, not doing anything else illegal. I was not in the act of selling drugs or running guns, hypothetically. But so how does that tie directly into the information that they might find on my cell phone to prosecute me based off of that?
I think it could then come into maybe the case-by-case basis. Like, for example,
there's not going to be a Supreme Court. There's going to be a Supreme Court ruling on this. And it's not going to be a case-by-case basis. It's going to be a precedent that is set that is used from here on out. That's why this is important. Like, this is something that's going to affect our lives going forward in one way or another. And it all relates back to our notions of privacy and
our privacy that's vastly disappearing on a daily basis.
Well, the privacy that's also being looked at vastly different on a daily basis. More and more people, myself included, are more and more open about things, and we've all gotten into trouble over that too. Everybody's got stories of posting something stupid online that started an argument or got them in trouble at work, or just made a big hassle for them. But we're just so open with everything now. And when they said that the NSA spying on me, I was like, yeah,
like
I assumed so.
My world was not shaked last year when they were like,
no. My response was, I don't like talking on the phone anyway, so this gives me more and more reason. And text messages, if you can decode them, good luck.
It was like, hey, the NSA spying on you. I was like, and if you that's how I viewed it.
I would say to the NSA, if you know what that text message meant, please let me know, because I have no idea.
Yeah, come get me.
What does that mean? Are you horny? Are you drunk? Are you stranded somewhere?
Well, it's all a matter of what they want to look for,
Or no.
Anyway.
Yeah. We're nobody.
Off on a tangent.
Bomb. There you go, NSA.
Wow.
Stop. There's no net neutrality. You want them to choke our bandwidth off?
Ha.
People will be downloading this thing at a drip.
Is that a euphemism?
Choking your
I'm gonna go
bandwidth.
upstairs and choke my bandwidth off. Be right back.
Actually, it's not. That's pretty good because that's what you're doing too. I mean, if you're watching video.
Yeah, true.
Remember when
I choke my bandwidth
You
on a
remember
daily
when-
basis.
Yeah, I choke bandwidth all the time then, dude. 2-3 times a day.
You got to keep it clean.
If it's a weekend, look out. A lot of free time on my hands. It's a nickname for my junk. Free time.
Free time.
Other things besides my junk.
Free time.
I've got a singularity alert. There's another singularity on the horizon, another step closer to the combination of man and machine. Have you heard about the Michigan man who has the bionic eye?
No.
He lives in northern Michigan.
No.
He has retinitis pigmentosus, which is actually the same thing my sister has. This is a degenerative eye disease that you gradually lose your sensitivity to light, so you lose your night vision, then you start to lose usually your peripheral vision, and then eventually you lose your whatever they call seeing things right in front of you is. Like you're completely blind. And so my sister's at that point at this point. But there's a man in Michigan who received a bionic eye. This consisted of a set of glasses that had like a little camera in it, and it wirelessly transmitted to a receiver on the man's retina. It was actually implanted onto his retina. That I guess it's just basically making it very intense because like the rods and cones, the things that pick up shit in your eyes. That's what picks up the light and color and everything. And so when you have this disease, they're just really dampened, so you can't hardly see anything. Like my sister will tell me every once in a while, "Oh, I saw my husband the other day." Like I saw what shirt he was wearing. It was like, she's telling me a story. "Are you wearing an American flag shirt?" He said that. She said to him, and he was like, "Yeah, how did you know?" I just saw a flash of it. It's not like your eyes completely shut down. There's still information, but you just don't have enough to collect it with.
Now, is this guy actually seeing
He's
things, or is he seeing like shapes?
He's starting to see things in the way that my sister is at the later part of her degeneration, which is like flashes here and there. But he's starting to see more movement and being able to tell the difference between things. What's moving around? Is it his kid? Is it his pet?
Because I have a friend as my old roommate. He 16 years old, faulty bottle rocket, a piece of shrapnel went in his eye, and he's been dealing with that I believe he's on his second cornea.
Yeah.
And second meaning technically his third, like his second that was not his. And
He would need a robot cornea then.
yeah, he's got no depth perception. He's legally blind in that eye.
Yeah.
And
That's a little different. I mean, it's a different circumstance. This technology wouldn't help him.
Oh,
This increases the sensitivity of your rods and cones basically by oversaturating the image. Yeah, he would need like an actual transplant of parts, I would guess. I'm no eye doctor, but that man needs a new cornea.
let me ask you something. You a doctor?
Net neutrality. I was reading about. We talked about net neutrality, right? The concept of not policing the internet in ways where you can direct traffic, basically give more people more bandwidth and other people less bandwidth, whatever.
Just explain that again.
Yeah, well, net neutrality. So the idea is that the net should be a neutral and free place, and everybody should have open access to it. And it has remained pretty free, other than the fact that we control the pipes to it. That's what we pay for internet. Is we're paying for the trafficking of internet. We're not paying for the actual internet itself. Up until recently, there was a ruling on net neutrality that said that you cannot direct traffic. So Comcast can't say, "Oh, we want more bandwidth for Hulu." That's our Embassy affiliate, and less bandwidth for Netflix because that's our competition.
Oh, so
Right.
they can't.
So it's controlling the pipes.
Ah,
You're being the traffic director. To me, this is like Chris Christie throwing up the roadblock.
Yeah.
It's all on the same lines. It's like you shouldn't. It's like saying that the poor people should have a slower path to work, full of more construction, where only the rich people should get on the freeways that take them directly where they need to go.
Oh, so They want to make the internet like the rest of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. If you have enough money to pay for premium service, that premium service will have enough money to pay Comcast and whoever else for premium bandwidth, and your downloads will come very fast. And if you don't, then you will be probably back to the days of waiting 20 minutes for a picture to download.
Like AOL.
Yeah, so if
American Online.
if net neutrality goes away, internet under $100 is now a thing of the past.
Net neutrality has gone away.
Oh,
The FCC is looking at restoring net neutrality. This is a FCC ruling that they did away with. Because early on in the days of the internet, the big thing was it being a free thing. I mean, everybody can access it. The code was free. It's not restrictive to anybody, really. And that's what made it take off as fast as it did. If we had restrictive technologies like copyrights and limited access or pay-to-play access, then we still wouldn't have the internet that we have today. We'd be back another 10, 15 years probably of it kind of being a thing that some people use, but not always. Doesn't really work that well.
That would suck.
That would be a whole different world. So it was net neutrality that helped the internet prosper, and it's the thing that's going to choke it off if it's not ruled on again by the FCC.
Hey man, Big Brother working his hand, make you see what they want you to see, and make you see nothing of what they don't want you to see.
That's true.
manufacturing consent.
Yep. Buy this, not this. Watch this, not that.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to go back to TV.
Right.
The internet will be gone the way of TV. If you want to watch a video, well, what's on? Right. I'd like to watch that, but it'll take forever to download. So let's just watch another rerun of. I was gonna say that nerd TV show that we were watching that was advertised earlier, but I couldn't. The Big Bang Theory. Yeah. You seen any good movies lately? You go see that new Spider-Man one? I heard it was pretty stinky. I heard a lot of interesting things about that. They were saying you didn't see it, huh? No, I haven't seen it yet. We shouldn't infer then that it was really bad because neither of us have seen it.
Spiderman.
I hear it's bad news.
It doesn't look. It just from the commercial alone, it looks like such a mashup of ideas. Like I can just imagine. They're trying to unveil the Sinister Six, obviously.
Right. But what they're saying is a lot of people are seeing stuff that wasn't even in the or was in the trailer, but it's not actually in the movie. So they're trying to figure that situation out right now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it'd be unusual, to put something that's in the trailer, but yet it doesn't even make the movie. I don't understand that.
Because it was just such a great shot, Rob. It was just such a great shot. They are getting better at animate, at like the they're not even animating it. That's the one thing that they've done really well in the new one is not animate the swinging parts. What's his name? Tobey Maguire. Is that who?
Andrew Garfield.
No, the other one.
Tobey Maguire was the original.
Yeah. When he was jumping from like building to building, he was animated.
Right.
Yeah, and you could tell. They did a good job. Tell. But the all the web swinging stuff was much better in the new one. Other than that, I did not like the new one really at all. No, didn't do much for me.
Hey, did you know a new Spider-Man came out?
The only thing that does it for me is Gwen Stacy.
Oh. Sure.
This kind of movie I'll watch if it's on.
Right.
I won't go see it. That could give.
You're not really into like fantasy much. Are you into fiction of any sort other than like maybe a sitcom or something here and there?
No. I mean, we talked about back in the day, like Dungeons and Dragons and all that crap. But
right.
I'm not into comic books.
Like as an adult, I mean, more and more people as an adult, and my mother included. My mother does not read fiction, and she's like, I asked her, you're missing out on so many good books. How can you just not read fiction? If I was saying I don't read nonfiction, I would expect you to look at me like I was an idiot. Like, why would you just write off all genres? She's like, well, it doesn't interest me. It didn't actually happen. There's so many fascinating things that have happened in this world.
I can back that line of thinking. I see where she's coming from.
And then I can appreciate it, but to me, that's like saying, well, yeah, but what about human imagination?
Creativity, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what fascinates me is the endless creativity of the human mind, and that's what you get out of fiction is blowing apart reality. I live in reality all day long.
Right.
But my outlet is things like music, like
Sure.
playing guitar, things like this.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah, and she's a painter. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have still creative outlet, that you're closed off from the creative world just because it doesn't actually exist. But I just found that fascinating.
Yeah, some people just can't imagine things.
But you read fantasy ever?
I've read some. Yeah. I mean,
but you like fantasy movie.
I
mean,
like
do you
science fiction mostly?
So you're more into like the big set pieces and lots of monsters and alien stuff. Not so much the like.
Not like the hobbits and the the dragons.
You guys are comic book guys. I seen you guys sit upstairs with your books and bags or whatever the hell, and
I still read them.
Oh yeah,
the X-Men.
Seen you two go to
beautiful.
Get your free comic books.
Yeah,
and the free ones always suck.
Yeah, they're never really good. They're like 5 pages and that's it.
Every once in a while, I'll get a good one out there.
Yeah,
but it's for the kids.
The kids,
for kids.
Who call them graphic novels now?
Graphic novels.
It's no longer a comic book. That's a dirty word. That's at least I know enough to know that it's graphic novels. Whatever, asshole. It's a comic book.
So Damon Albarn's new album. Have either of you guys heard anything from this? You probably won't be hearing it on the radio. This is probably something you'd have to go and seek out to listen to, unless you heard an interview like I did.
They haven't played anything he's done on the radio for 10 years anyway.
Right. I just happened to be wearing my Gorillaz shirt on the day that I heard this interview, and I was like, oh, hey, Damon Albarn. So I listened to the interview, and they played some of his music. Boy, it sounds like crap. And, this is somebody who's worked with many different producers and recorded with many different styles of music, from, Brit pop to kind of more techno, hip hop to world music, experimental. Now he's got a solo album, but just really sounds poor quality. And maybe this is just the engineer in me. Maybe somebody else wouldn't find it.
It's a define poor. I mean, there's a lot of lo-fi recording going on nowadays.
No reverb, not much in the way of interesting panning other than the random glitching techno-y effects. And sounds like it was recorded in a really dry room, in a really small room. It's quite an intimate album. I'll give him that if that's what he was going for. But it seemed like, what it reminded me of?
What's that?
Tom York's solo album, which has its moments, but overall I'm not a fan of, because it just have you ever heard of The Eraser?
No.
Yeah, I don't think you'd enjoy it. It just sounds like a bunch of demos from Radiohead, like unfinished songs.
I know. I lost after Amnesiac. I kind of fell off, and
you didn't follow the experimental phase.
No, and I hear lots of people cream over "Hail to the Thief" and all that. And
I listen to it. Is great.
Yeah, like I don't, when it comes on my MP3 player or iPod or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't turn it off.
When
it doesn't, but not every track's a winner.
So I really wanted to know, what was the story with this? I was actually curious enough to go and look up, and I found an interview of Damon Albarn talking about making the album. And he was talking about how he's making it with the guy, I think he's the president now of XL Records, which is mostly in its history been a techno label, but now has kind of branched off into all different types of music. And it was the producer, when I wrote his name down here, Richard Russell. And sure enough, when I read up on Richard Russell, he has very few production credits. He's mostly an A&R guy that worked his way into president spot, and he has a few co-producing credits. He's the one who helped Damon make this album. He's also the one who helped release Tom York's album, Eraser.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, this is it, from Everyday Robots. Let's just listen to a little bit of it.
Yep, this is an art project.
This is a vanity project.
Yeah.
Like, I want something out there with my name on it.
But you know what? Usually guys who can make these albums, that means they've sold a shitload of albums earlier in their career, and this is fuck you money.
Damon Albarn has had the amazing luck to work with some of the best producers, honestly. Like, he works with Brian Eno, Dan the Automator. He's worked with a lot of very experimental producers. I think if this is an example of what he can do on his own, though. And I like...
Hey, this is a completely different song, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. It's very low key, lots of loops and stuff.
smoke too much weed.
I like
That's it.
experimental music. I like quiet music. I like stranger music. But this just does nothing for me. First of all, if you're gonna sing, you got to come up with a melody, and that's what I really haven't heard out of any of these songs yet. Is a halfway decent melody.
Yeah.
It's not, like, if somebody said, "Oh, we found these rare Damon Albarn demos from before he was in Blur,"
You'd buy it.
them,
You'd
I'd be like,
"Alright,
"Oh,
cool."
yeah." I'd probably even listen to him and be like, "Oh, this is cool. I can see where he's coming from. Yeah, I can see what this would have become."
Hey, but this
is
song-
like, dude, get out of the bedroom already. Like, go out and see the world. Work with some other brilliant producers and find somebody that knows how to record you because you sound like poop.
Okay, we get it. You're British. Yeah. No, he's done way better shit. Shit being the operative word here.
Sounds like he's doing a lot of heroin.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock myself in a
some-
studio for 6 months, do a whole bunch of heroin.
Yeah, this is some navel gazing bullshit. There's no way that this thing would have seen the light of day if it didn't have his name on it.
Yeah.
If you put my name on that record, nobody would play it.
Yeah, you're never getting beyond the bar in the corner.
Fuck no.
Oh, there you go. We could talk about this.
What you got?
How we were talking about earlier, how the line is blurring between are we getting older? Is everybody losing their just fucking mind?
Right? So, like, referring to people's tastes in general, it seems to be
taste,
mostly where it comes
music, TV, things in general. People
attitudes towards the world around them.
Yes. Like, it's...
Their idea of themselves.
A couple years ago, I thought, okay, I'm getting older. Now, I'm not sure. I just think everybody is losing their goddamn mind.
I agree with you on that one. I mean, most of the bullshit that's on TV nowadays, I don't even watch TV, and most of the, like, even trying to listen to general radio is just...
Oh, I haven't listened to broadcast radio outside of NPR for ages. I mean, every once in a while I just go, oh, why the fuck not? I think actually I heard a song that I really enjoyed that was just kind of an upbeat R&B dancey song, but it just had a great melody to it, and I really enjoyed it. That was maybe about 5 months ago, and I never found out who it was because you're listening to the fucking radio, and that's one of the problems with it, is I can't immediately find out who the fuck I'm listening to.
Right.
Radio will be dead in 20 years
Dead
anyway.
media.
Yeah,
This is the future.
I was having that discussion about, this is the future, but I was having that discussion with somebody 3 months ago. Terrestrial radio, it's over. It's... Polish up your resumes.
When's the last time radio broke an artist? It doesn't do that anymore. You only had that when you had regional radio.
19 something.
Like Bob Seger. Okay, here's somebody who's local, huge in the area, obviously, but mildly famous in the rest of the world. But huge in the Midwest and huge in Michigan. And a big part of that is because of regional radio, because radio DJs used to actually go and find, oh, somebody gave me this record and it sounds amazing. I'm going to play it for everyone because I think they're going to like it. Nobody's making that decision on that level anymore. Nobody's creatively involved in picking the music. It's what are we required to play because somebody has paid us to do so or given us some kind of kickback or whatever it may be. That's why I haven't listened to it in years.
Yeah, but there's like that small section of people that still listen to that stuff every day.
Well, that's okay. These are also
day,
are also the selection of people who just never own CDs. So like they maybe owned like 5 CDs, and it was like Charlie Brown Christmas and the Lion King soundtrack, and Eric Clapton Unplugged, and that was
that's god awful selection.
Yeah, that was horrible.
but people who have selections like that, where like this is what you listen to. Well, I hardly ever listen to music. Like how can you go through life like that?
I have every Gloria Estefan CD ever fucking made.
No, that's the thing. These people, I can get down with that. Having a passion for at least like one artist or something like that, but I'm talking about people who just have no passion for music.
Yeah,
this is like saying I don't really like to talk. I mean, people try and talk to me, and I just kind of maybe ignore them because I don't feel like, oh wait, that's Mikey B.
Oh,
God
he's
damn.
nodding over there. Yes, he's agreeing.
Calling him out.
I'll see you in the parking lot.
But yeah. Kids these days.
Kids these days. With their rock and roll music.
Well, what we were talking about earlier, humor, how humor has changed. Like, apparently, I mean, if there are people out there who actually think these commercials are funny, that just they have nothing going for them but randomness. Things that don't belong together are together on the screen.
Yeah, we were talking about it's. Yeah, we were having this conversation about Adult Swim. You know,
Right. It's
the last 5 years, I officially don't get it.
Right.
Like once
randomness used to be like, isn't it funny that every time Shake throws the remote, it blows up, or the TV blows up, or just everything has to blow up when it's thrown in Aqua Teen. Now randomness is like, I don't know why any of that went together at all, or what the fuck is going on right now. That seems to be what entertains people these days.
I think it's just testing the limits of people's, attention span.
Or how much work they can put into it.
Right.
what will they watch? Let's see now.
Yeah, let's see how much bullshit we can.
Holy shit! People are watching this.
Well, come on.
Shit.
What doesn't operate on that level? Look at our fast food. It's like how they're constantly thinking of ways to put less and less meat into it. They're still eating it.
Right.
That's their test.
Or more and more.
Still eating it.
The Double Down's back.
Yeah, I saw that.
More worm meal. They're still eating it.
Yep. Whatever they'll eat.
What we're going to
Shove
do?
it down their throats.
We're going to eliminate the bun.
Yeah.
Just two pieces of chicken,
what we're gonna
some
do is-
cheese, and bacon.
Yeah, and the special sauce.
They'll have heart disease within 5 years.
We're gonna ruin all the cows with inbreeding and chemicals and steroids and everything, and then we're gonna have to eat mealworms. We're gonna have to go with the like third world countries that are eating crickets and shit. You're gonna have the McCricket.
With some
Get ready for
genetically
a
modified
McCricket with the
potato.
side of squid and some seaweed.
Nah, this is America. We'll eat each other first.
That's right. We're too raised on
soil
red
and
meat.
green.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean
Yeah.
the Midwest alone.
Oh God, that'd be
could-
great.
We could keep the coast alive for a bit.
Let's write a dark future movie where all the cows die off and it turns half the population into cannibals. Anytime they get a big concept, Hollywood fucks it up. Like the
Oh, yeah.
Matrix. The Matrix was a perfect example of fucking up a big concept.
Yeah, I think it looked like a good concept, but I mean, it's going to be just a over CGI bullshit
Yeah.
piece of crap.
Yeah, because you got to put action in it, and I'm like, a movie like Transcendence should come out. That should play out more like a movie like the space one with Sandra Bullock gets lost in space.
Oh, Gravity, yeah.
yeah, she gets lost in space.
Yeah,
Like,
just lost in space.
warning, Sandra Bullock. Warning.
Yeah, that movie was pretty
You
crazy.
know, if she had that robot with her, she probably would have been all right.
Should have been fine.
Wasn't that
Warning, your tether is about to snap.
wasn't that open water in space? Wasn't that basically what that was?
Yeah, basically.
Which was just Blair Witch and water.
That's how it is now in Hollywood. Just recycle bullshit.
Yeah, they're out of ideas in Hollywood.
That might have been
Yeah.
that probably how they pitched it.
I think when they made,
Imagine open water, only in space.
I think too, and what's funny,
I like it. I'll buy it.
I think what's funny too is it maybe that says something to us as a society, but they ended up being good movies. To me, they were officially out of ideas when they started making the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like when Disney's going, all right, we're out of fairy tales, time for rides.
Yeah, what rides do we have?
Spaceship Earth the movie coming in 2015.
Right? Norway, the movie.
Can we,
That's Epcot.
can we get Captain EO too?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Let's CGI that.
Had Bruno Mars in that one.
Yeah, Bruno Mars will be his
There
son.
you go. Yeah.
Captain EO's son.
Bruno Mars up there with the prosthetic nose, sliding off his face. How did they do the makeup for the part? Well, mostly just put wax on me and then set me underneath the heat lamp.
We could make yet another Raiders of the Lost Ark reference if we wanted to.
That's another face melting reference. That seems to be the popular reference from that movie, though. I know
Yeah.
it's because it's that scene that stuck with everyone. Like that's one of the things I remember most from that.
Well, isn't the one from and then
Keep
the
your
one
eyes
from
closed.
the one from Temple of Doom is
There we go.
Kalima.
Yeah.
Kalima.
Rip your heart out and show it to you.
Yeah. And then, as far as I'm concerned, they are all crap after that.
Oh, come on. The third
on.
one? I mean, I liked all four of them. I can understand people's beef with the last
Really,
one. But the
really,
third
really,
one,
really.
The third one's
the
one of
last
best.
one. No,
The Crystal Skull.
we're gonna
Aliens.
We're gonna
Yes,
back up
aliens.
and talk about you
Aliens.
liking the aliens one.
Yes, because aliens are more reasonable than religion.
Right.
That's why 'cause everything
Not
else.
in that story.
Why? It was a good story.
No, listen. So everything was kind of religious based in the other movies, the Holy Grail, or whether it was related to Western religion or not. It all had religious connotations, and the fact that that he took a left turn away from Nazis and religion and went to aliens makes perfect sense to me.
I mean, you could argue it's just as ludicrous.
Yeah, all Indiana Jones is a platform for Harrison Ford to have some quips and look all sexy and have some great action sequences. I never read it for the story. I had a good enough story to actually not only move the story along well, but to be a movie that lasts, that my kids even want. My son loves those movies, all of them. That's the thing. Like, sometimes you're watching it through the wrong lens. Yes, I have much criticism of the last batch of Star Wars films, but my son loves them, and he watches the first trilogy and the second trilogy with the same amount of attention and respect. It's no different to him because it's all got the essential components, which is action and just enough story to get you through it. But that's not. None of us are watching these movies because of the plot. I don't
know. As a history buff, I disagree.
Did you? I never watched it and said, "I wonder if that really happened."
Well,
is that true?
No, yeah.
Well,
I said, wait, do you like National Treasure then?
No,
that was horrible.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of, sort of. I mean, I'm not saying.
Come on now.
Hey, as a guy who likes history, but hey, no, don't judge me in movies. All right. First of all, there's movies I tell people I haven't seen. People look at me like I farted. And second of all,
Titanic, I haven't seen that one.
No, but good. I got.
At this point, I refuse.
I made it, and I got duped into it in like 2005. Pussy was involved, but
well, and then you gotta watch it.
Oh, but hey,
but I could say I didn't contribute to the initial.
I still went to see Twilight for pussy, but anyway, go on.
Nice.
You still what?
I still was dragged to see Twilight.
Yeah,
just for pussy.
I saw all of them.
All of them. I only had to go to the second one.
I do think I got.
But you had a longer relationship than I did.
I do think I got blown after each one. Yeah. So
you do get some good sympathy sex after
Twilight
that.
blowjob.
Yeah. Hey, you just went through this. Now I'm gonna put out. All right. Cool.
Your gift.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for going to see that with me. Hey, one thing you don't know about me is I can sit for hours in dark theaters patiently waiting for sex. Not an issue.
It's a superpower you have.
As long as you tell me there's a reward at the end, it's fine.
Makes sense.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Fantastic.
There's so much shit I don't care about, like as far as things that they just waste time and energy reporting. What is E going to do when Hollywood falls into the ocean after the big one?
That's
what is E going to talk about?
Oh gosh, I when looking for information on the Star Wars, the upcoming Star Wars movie, and seeing if they really were going to put Kenny Baker in a trash can, I found like the latest news was what they call a video selfie, which I don't know why it has to be called this. It used to be just called taking a video of yourself, but now it's a video selfie of J.J. Abrams and I think the writer maybe wishing everybody a happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th.
Okay, we can talk about this, dude.
So there was a news story about the video on MTV News, and it was like the 23 greatest. Maybe 23 is just a number that they usually do, but there were only 19 things, and all of them were just ridiculous. There was no information to be gleaned from a video of him saying "Happy May the 4th, Star Wars fans."
So the story was J.J. Abrams took a selfie.
Yeah.
That's
a video selfie.
That's the shit
those
that drives me insane right now.
Yeah. That's
not news.
No, yeah, exactly. Ellen DeGeneres takes a selfie and posts it. So fucking what? I could have found that on her site if I wanted to go and see about Ellen DeGeneres. I know where to find information about Ellen DeGeneres. I do not need CNN telling me what Ellen DeGeneres is doing.
Yeah, you know what the news is? Asteroid heading towards planet. Don't go to work today. Hang out with loved ones. We're all going to die. That's news. Or hey, martial law declared in Detroit. Probably a little bit truer than we'd like to believe. Probably a little bit closer. But that kind of thing, that's news.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
somebody escaped.
Martha Stewart breaks a nail. Or, just stupid
Yeah.
bullshit, man.
Kim
I mean,
Kardashian's getting married.
Kanye West slaps women.
Here's 24 hours.
You know, that's all America really cares about anymore.
Yeah, bullshit. And
And it's just a mask. So, our government can pass laws while we're all facing the idiot box.
Ironically, we're hoping they care about bullshit enough to keep to actually listen to this and tell people about it. So, hey,
Right.
please, pass it on if you like it. Please, thank you.
We didn't talk about Donald Sterling. Is it even worth visiting? Has everything been said? What I am curious of, like, the biggest issue here is him losing his business and being forced out of his business.
I mean,
That's where it gets me. It's not that I agree with anything that he said. Sure, he's vile, but the punishment for what he said privately to somebody else, that's what I don't like.
you're not free from consequences. You're free to say what you want, but you're not free from
That's very true.
that was
very true.
and the people that a buddy of mine broke it down perfectly. Is the people that you do business with are no longer choosing to do business with you.
Right, yeah.
That's capitalism, man.
Well, I think it wasn't so much
Yeah.
that they were just seeing the writing well. Like they didn't see how they could do business, how anybody else could do business with him, and eventually, if left in that position, that the team would suffer and rot. And so, why not just jump to the end of the story and get rid of him now, rather than wait for it to happen? But shouldn't that process just be part of it, though? Part of the freedoms that we enjoy and endure from others, of that process of actually letting the system get rid of him rather than making a decision.
well, it technically is a private organization.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
They can do technically whatever the hell they want.
Yep.
It's not a publicly traded company. It's a whole bunch of private business owners. Basically, it's a private business owner organization technically.
Right.
So,
It's just the idea of, like, there was no actual discrimination per se coming from him. He was just talking poorly about other races.
he's just got a fucked up
right?
belief system.
So that kind of goes into the territory of thought crime. Like, you're being punished for thinking something, not for doing something. You would assume that his racist thoughts would dictate his behavior, but that doesn't necessarily have to be so. He could be, so evenly minded in his business that it doesn't matter what color somebody is. If they're going to make me money, they're going to make me money. So you're prosecuting somebody, not prosecuting, but you're like taking something away from them based on what they think, not what they did.
Right.
It's such a.
I'm not saying I would have done different if I was in the position to take the team away from him.
He had prior instances where
Right? Isn't this how it always happens? Everybody just knows. Like, when it comes out publicly to somebody like me who doesn't even know anything about the sport, wouldn't know anything about it anyways. It comes out when it's worldwide news that, like, he says something racist, but everybody in the industry was probably just like, oh yeah. Oh, of course.
Well,
it was only a matter of time before he slipped.
But to
and
me,
just
too,
said something to the wrong person.
The other side of this too is I think there's a lot of hypocrisy.
A lot of hypocrisy.
You're telling me he's the only super rich white old dude in that organization who thinks like that? Hell no.
Probably not, but what is...
Because another thing, too, is I did not think that an 81-year-old billionaire is racist. That deserved, like, 2 weeks' worth of around-the-clock news coverage? Really? Come on.
I don't see how that relates. I don't see how that relates unless you're inferring that the chances are that there are other people on that board that were racist themselves.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying it's a group of older, rich, white men. Right. I'm saying he just got caught.
Right. It's like the South Park Catholic Church episode. Like, they all had a meeting afterwards, and it was like, he let it slip, He let his racism show, and now he's got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, am I defending him? Hell no, dude. I think he said some ignorant shit. But I think he got railroaded because I think he's not the only person who feels like that. And I think a group of people who feel the same way as him, most of them. Yeah. Because, no, you mean...
On the other hand,
NBA has more minority owners than any other sport,
Does it?
Yeah, hockey, bunch of white guys own hockey. I think it's baseball's mostly a bunch of white guys own. I think maybe there's a minority owner or two in baseball. I think generally, and I think football, same thing. It's a bunch of white guys own all the teams. Basketball is the one sport where they have more minority owners, but still, I mean, I didn't think it warranted everybody freaking out like it did. I think we just needed something to talk about. And I also wonder, and I haven't researched this yet, I wonder what fucked up laws Congress passed while we were all focusing on that.
Oh, well, I mean, they were ruling on whether they can search your cell phones or not. They were making, we also have to decide regulation based on drones operating in private airspace, in public airspace rather, not private airspace, for commercial use.
That to me is more fucked up than them searching your cell phones. Yeah. The fact that the government could get a hold, they already have that technology.
Well, yeah, they already have the technology. They're just pointing the drone at your house, and it's not a matter of. I'm not afraid that the government's going to execute me. It's just they can see everything.
Yeah, no. How do I know that a drone is? How do we know that drones just hanging out and patrolling neighborhoods isn't that far off?
Oh, it's gonna come.
They could just perch on the corner, hover on the corner with a camera, and just everybody's house.
We already have the freedom to police neighborhoods and cities with police cars, with helicopters, with cameras on the street corners. I mean, it's a logical step to have the streets paroled by unmanned aerial vehicles. But the fact that they can now just go about anywhere. I mean, what stops them from just going right up to your window and looking into
That's
it?
what I'm talking about. Because how do you know they're there by the time you realize they're out?
The closest thing we have to a ruling from the Supreme Court, and this isn't something that's hit the Supreme Court. This is regulation that's being decided on now, and will probably eventually make its way to the Supreme Court when people start challenging it. But the closest thing we have to regulation from the Supreme Court on this issue is in the 80s when they were spying on like crime organizations and whatnot through airplanes, and it was actually ruled that they were able to, as long as they could witness them from a public navigatable airspace. That was a quote. That it was appropriate for them to use any of the information that they gleaned from spying on somebody through an airplane in court. So, I mean, there hasn't been a ruling on this, it's just a what if, but where are they going to draw that line? What's public and what's not? Can they come onto your lawn or not? Can they approach the house? Is there a limit? Can they get within a certain distance of your house, or do they have to stick to public streets? And even if they are restricted in any given way, who's to say where they are? They could go right up to your window, take a picture, and say, oh, well, we zoomed in on that from across the neighborhood. There
comes a discussion of things that they can't and can do, and things that they are going to do anyways, or things that they will do.
Right, yeah.
You know, there's that whole Pandora's box of everything, too.
Isn't this bizarre that, like, and I'm sure that people making these laws are having these thoughts, too, but for making laws knowing that they're going to be there's going to be loopholes in them, trying to figure out ahead of time how to close the loopholes before they are left open.
Rabbit hole
drones,
such.
Yeah, that's a more of a rabbit hole thing. That's another podcast.
Yeah, that's something that's a conversation that could start and we'll be here till 4 a.m.
Yes.
Oh, here you go. I read about this today because this will affect us, because this baby could go on for 6 months, or this could go on for 6 years because of this asshole right here. Read an article today about the trial that's going. Oh, we're gonna have video. I don't want to have video.
Have they set a date?
Yeah, it's happening in September.
Okay.
And what's going down is,
well, for anybody who doesn't know, we're talking exactly about the
lawsuit. Well, I want to get this guy's trolls. Yeah, I want to get this guy's name.
The patent trolls they say that they have a patent on podcasting, and that everyone out there podcasting owes money.
No, what he did. No, the fucked up thing is what he did is, okay, his name is James Logan. And basically, he had a patent. He basically took the patent and he amended it to include technology like that had evolved. Like he amended it to include technology that he didn't invent. Like
Well, I think I thought it was in the writing of it that said, and it referred to future technologies that
he had it amended.
available.
Like it initially was all based on like a cassette subscription service, like that he started, and now
I didn't know that
he had the language. He had the language amended to include like audio sequencers for podcasting.
I didn't know you could factor in technological inflation into your patent. Like you have a patent on a system for distributing information through cassette, and that transfers to CD and every other media. That's a very strange concept. The patent and copyright laws in this country are just insane and out of control.
That's what this article talks about too. Is how people are taking advantage of them, and they're
it was never meant to work this way.
Yeah, they're overhauling them.
But by the time they overhaul it, this guy is going to be rich.
First thing, this article starts out, James Logan freely admits that he's never made a podcast.
He doesn't have to. I mean, that's not what having a patent is all about. If he had a legitimate patent on podcasting, I wouldn't expect him to be making podcasts. I'd expect him to be reaping the reward of his invention.
He insists that he helped create the medium of podcasting. He says it happened in 1996 and that he has the patents to prove it. Personal Audio, the company founded by Logan, is suing Adam Carolla, 2 other podcasters, and Fox, CBS, and NBC, saying they're infringing on his copyright and owe him. So this guy's just he's going after wallets.
Mm-hmm. Because, well, think about it. His poor choice was in choosing Adam Carolla. His smart choice was ABC and, who else did you say? Fox. The major affiliates, those are the people who are just like...
They'll just write checks.
They'll write checks and just say, just go the fuck away and don't give us any more bad press, okay? Here's your fuck off money.
Yeah, by the way, fundanything.com/patent troll. If you want to donate to it, it's still going on.
It's not our cause, but it's a good one.
No, it's for the royal cause. Like,
oh yeah,
we didn't
start it.
This could all go away. We could just get going. All 12 of you. We could say listeners. We don't have to say valued listener. We can say listeners, but still, it starts with a dozen, and we keep going and we promote. This could grow into something that could die immediately. This could be something that could get traction and then hit a brick wall if this lawsuit goes through. He's already made they've already got like $370,000. Amazon cut him a $20,000 check right off the bat.
$20,000.
But first thing, Personal Audio said to him,
the cheap date.
Yeah, first
Amazon gave him $20,000 in a case of Bud Light.
The guy who owns Amazon makes $20,000 when he fucking jerks off in the morning. But anyway, the first thing Personal Audio said to Carolla was give us $3 million, and he said no, it's out of the question. And he said even tomorrow if they said give him $100,000 and this will all go away, his question is $100,000 for what?
Wait, who's questioning it?
Carolla.
Oh, yeah.
Says it's been around since podcasting's been around since at least 2004. Carolla says if he loses, he's going to should he lose, he says he might shut down the show. And he's not the only person saying that.
This podcast is not what's making him or anybody else rich. It might put some money in their pocket. I'm sure there's people out there who can make a decent living just podcasting, but ultimately, for somebody like Mark Maron, for Adam Carolla, these are ways to keep them in the public, to get the whole reason that people are reading Adam's books and going to his shows and buying the Mangria and all that is because they hear him all the time. They have this relationship with him. They can listen to it daily. Anybody.
I hear, I listen to Jay Moore, and it's him and a lot of his comedian buddies, and he talks about how this has changed their shows.
Right.
He said their shows now are sold out and full, and
absolutely.
And I'm sure it's
a way to promote things like Christopher Media or Asmacore Studios.
Yes. I'm sure bands who do podcasts, I'm sure they see jumps in their shows. Yes. And it's a medium. This is the future, and it could all go away. Now, they have the trials here. It says they have them in this town in Texas. It's the patent trial capital. Their docket isn't filled with other cases waiting to get a hearing. So they try to have all these patent cases in this town in Texas.
Yeah, because they're sympathetic to. Well, they're just sympathetic to businesses in general in Texas. They love businesses, both big and small, and they think that they should be treated like people.
And they win 60% of the time in this town. They fought to get it moved, and I guess it didn't get it moved. Like, I'm trying to get to I'm trying to not read the whole article here. I'm trying to get to the heart of the story, which I think is just total and utter bullshit. If I ever meet this guy, I'll punch him in his dick. And I think anybody who meets this guy should punch him in his dick, because this is a dick move.
Oh, come on now.
What he
you
did.
Shouldn't get on the airways and promote violence against other people. Some people take you here seriously. They hear your voice on a podcast and they go, yes, I should punch so-and-so in the dick.
I'm saying punch James Logan in the dick. You put me on record. If you ever meet this guy.
Mark my words, this is coming back to haunt us.
Sweet. Spell my name right, all right? Logan's 1996 idea predates podcasting as we know it. His concept was downloadable entertainment via the internet to a new kind of MP3 player he was trying to market. The product fizzled, so he switched gears to subscription of... Wow, try to say that a few times fast. To subscription of cassette tapes. He filed for and was granted several patents, which included the notion of having downloaded playlists. In 2009...
How do you download a playlist to a cassette?
Personal Audio amended the patent to include podcasting. So let me say that again.
Can we get this one?
In 2009, Personal Audio amended the patent to include podcasting. So he rewrote the patent to include this new technology so he could get a piece of it. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
He didn't. There's some kind of rule in there that allows him to update it based on technology. So I mean, because what you're patenting here is the concept, not an actual technology. You're patenting the concept, which is why the whole system's fucked up anyways. We're patenting concepts, people.
Can the estate of Thomas Edison go after the people who invented the LED light bulb? Let's amend our patent to any kind of light bulb ever invented.
If that one wasn't already long extinct, yes. What's interesting about this is, in addition to this being something that affects us personally, affects me personally, I listen to a lot of podcasts as well. It's going to affect my daily life, but it's also going to be probably the first of many types of these patent lawsuits that we see on different types of technology, because technology is accelerating in its rate of improvement, right? So we're burning through different technologies constantly, and if we're able to take old patents and extrapolate them for future technologies, then that just leaves everything on the table.
Punch him in the dick.
But once you start thinking about it in that way, if you can take a patent, an idea that you had, and say it applies to not only current but future technologies.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Well, since you said it's an extinct patent, but does that mean hypothetically Edison could have said, and any light bulb ever invented ever? Like when he initially filed the patent.
Well, if instead of him coming up with a phosphorescent
any type of
material
car ever invented
that he could pass electricity through to produce light, if he just was able to patent the idea of illuminating the insides of rooms with electricity, if that was his patent, then yes. But that's what it's not. That's basically what this guy has. He's patented an idea, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It's a concept it's like patenting a telephone, but then somebody coming right afterwards and patenting the idea of calling somebody on the telephone. You could use this to call your mother. I'm patenting that idea. And now that's going to be applied to all future telephone calls. This is the world that we're approaching. If we're able to patent ideas like this and apply it to all future technologies, then everybody's going to get on in this game. Everybody's going to try and find. That's going to be the new way to get rich quick.
Well, they are the laws are under serious restructuring's probably the wrong word, but they're definitely being reviewed. They're being tightened up, as this article puts it.
This is a patent law. Then this has nothing to do with broadcast. Like the FCC's not weighing in on this, right?
Yeah, no, the FCC is mentioned nowhere in this article. It's all about the
Right.
It's all about the patents.
That's a good thing, because the FCC's fucking insane. But yeah, I don't know who writes patent law.
Patent lawyers.
I guess. Hopefully they overhaul copyright law while they're at it too, because that's ridiculous.
Now we
have lifetime of the artist plus 70 years or something now.
Well, there is a light of hope in all this.
What's that?
There is now the EFF. What is the EFF? Oh, the Electronic Freedom Foundation.
Yes. Now, these are the same people pushing for net neutrality.
Yes, they have petitioned the patent office to hear its case about invalidating Personal Audio's patent, and they got a hearing accepted. So this is a huge victory for podcasters. However, the patent office has until April next year to
Right.
make a decision.
Right.
So the Corolla lawsuit could be over and done with by then, and it could also still be in progress. They could actually probably hold the power to stop that whole lawsuit.
Either way, Corolla's putting a lot on the line, isn't he?
Well, it's someone has stepped up to say "fuck you" to somebody who's just trying to get something for nothing. And I think it's part of that. I think this loops back around nicely to something we talked about earlier about how fucked we're becoming as a society. That whole attitude of entitlement.
Yeah, that is where it starts, though. People feel like they're owed something. They have this weird concept of fairness, and yeah, they feel like they deserve whatever money they can get from other people in whatever way they can get it.
It's like we all stopped. It's like we all stopped processing. You got kids. We all were kids. With that whole argument from your parents, that's not fair. Well, life isn't fair.
Life isn't. Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
that
it's
was
like,
told to me over and over again.
It's like we've all chosen to hit the delete button on that thought process in our brain as a society.
No, because it's the parents that are screaming that now. They get a note that says Billy was, mouthing off in school. It's not fair. What's not fair? It's not fair that the teacher's picking on my kid. I bet you there's plenty of kids mouthing off. It's not fair that they're just picking on my kid. Well, maybe they're picking on your kid because your kid's a fucking asshole. Ever think of that one?
Yeah, new concept.
Hey, here's a new concept. Your kid might be an asshole, and it might be your fault.
Every asshole you know was a little kid once.
That's right.
They start out as little kids.
Oh.
Assholes beget assholes.
Well, I guess that'll wrap it up then for now, huh?
Yeah, we are on SoundCloud right now.
Find us on SoundCloud.
We're on Facebook. We are on Twitter.
What's the name of the SoundCloud account? What should they search?
I think
on SoundCloud?
everything. Just search for Christopher Media.
Christopher Media. Search Christopher Media on SoundCloud.
Yeah, on SoundCloud, on Facebook, on Twitter. Like it, share it. If you like it, tell people about it. Right now, that's all we got. We got some things in the work. A website's being built. ChristopherMedia.net. Is that everything?
A lot to come.
That's all we have. We have YouTube space reserved.
Gonna be a lot of great announcements coming up. A lot of cool shows coming out.
Yeah, we're working with a show out of Chicago. A buddy of mine from the radio days. Got a few other things in the works. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Slack is a new way to communicate with your team. Messaging that's faster, better organized, and more secure. Conversations happen in channels that are easy to create, join, and search. Try it for free at slack.com. Slack, where work happens.